Hi, I'm Phyllis from iSew and welcome back to my channel. And today I want to show you how I made this little doll's dress up. I made this doll, and the last video I showed you how I put the petticoat and the bloomers together. And so I wanted to show you how I make a little dress up for her. I have this one I want to dress. So we'll set her up. And so I used the same bodice pattern for the petticoat. But with the petticoat, I made it single and just serged around the arms and the neck, or turn it in, one or the other, whichever you prefer. But with the dress, I'm going to line it. So I cut two fronts. I have one here, and two backs. And they will fold here, and they will meet in the center. But before I start with the bodice, I like to put any trim that I want on it. Like this one, I put a ribbon with some lace on top of it. This one, I put just a plain straight yoke. Or you could take and cut your pattern, use the same pattern, and almost make any shape you want. And then you just cut it off here and put trim on it. Put some ribbon or some lace or something, and that covers the seam. So you don't have to hem this, so it will eliminate the bulk. And you just put a piece of trim on it like this. This would be way too wide for this little dress, but that's all right. I just for demonstrations. And then when I get figured out what I'm going to do with the bodice, then I take the bodice here and the facing or the lining of the dress for here. So these are both front, and these two are both the back sections. And I will sew the sleeve, the shoulders together. And I'll have 4 pieces like that. And then I fold it in half like this and sew around the neckline. Now, if I was putting lace like I did on this one, I would sew it in, get it fitted in there before. But sometimes it's kind of bulky, so you have to have a fine little lace, really, should have. So then when I've got it all sewn like that, I turn it right side out and I press it. So this is the front and the back. And then I will, sometimes I stitch it along here. If it's a slippery fabric or something, I will just baste it along the edges so I keep where I want it. I don't want it slipping out of place. And then I do my sleeve. And this is my sleeve. And I put a gathering stitch, 2 rows of gathering stitches along the top. And for the trim, I will take right sides of the lace and right sides of the fabric and the lace are right sides together, and then just stitch along here and then fold this back. And there's two ways, well, there's a lot of ways to do it, I guess. You could just top stitch along here and then make a casing with, because I have enough depth in here for a casing. So you can run your elastic through here and gather it in. This one, I just top stitch the lace and the elastic all at one go. And then I've got it gathered in, and I'll show you how I put my, I marked the center mark of the sleeve, and I'm trying to find it, here it is, and we put it at the shoulder, and I pin that first, and then I put a pin at the bottom edge and one at this edge. And then just adjust my gathers to fit properly, and then sew it across. And then I'll finish the seam off either with a zigzag stitch or the serger. And then when I get both sleeves in, then I turn it this way. Oh, let's see. Turn it this way. And match up the bottom edge. It's a little snug in there, but. And I line this up so that my lace is even, and then start here and sew towards the underarm, and then down here. I like, if there is a little bit difference, sometimes if you're not perfect, you can, the sleeve may be a wee bit longer on one side or the other, and it might join up here. You won't notice it under the arm, but you would notice it if it wasn't, if you didn't start at this edge. And then I show you with this doll how I put Velcro or hook and loop tape. That's the trouble with that tape, it sticks to other things. It's catching on our hair here. And then you can see how this underarm seam is all one right through to this sewn down here. And then when I put my skirt on, and I'll show you how I did that too. I do my lace the same way, except I gather the lace on the bottom of the skirt, and I turn it over, and I sew. Just top stitch it along there. But this is the right side and the right side, and when you fold it back. And I serged along the bottom of the skirt here. Got a few threads hanging. And then I gather the skirt with 2 rows of gathering, 2 rows of stitching. I find that if you there's other ways of doing it, but I find with the 2 rows of stitches leaves a nice fine little gathers. And then when I finish, get it all sewn onto the bodice, I will take and sew up here a couple of inches, depending on how much room I need to get in and out of the doll, off the doll, and then sew it across here, and that holds it in. And then I take my lace and I stitch it down and then top stitch it. Like I will finish stitching it across here, and then it looks complete. It doesn't look just chopped off, you know, like as if I'm sewing down here, and sometimes they're not too even. So I find that it works well to just do it that way. And then I will dress her up again. I made her a little bonnet, and I have a free bonnet pattern like this, and I like this little bonnet. It's so easy to make up and so quick, and you can put as much lace on it or trim on it as you want. And so all you have to do to get the free bonnet pattern is just email me, and there'll be a link to my email address, and just drop me a little note and ask for the pattern, and you'll get it. And if you don't, email me again, because sometimes how emails go, sometimes you're going to miss them. Especially if I get quite a few at one time. But and there's a video out excuse me, on how to make that bonnet. It was one of my first few videos I made. I'm not doing that right. Excuse me. So thanks for watching, and be subscribe and check my basic doll pattern book out on my Etsy shop. Thanks for watching. Bye now.